Hello friends, my name is Rishab. In this year's UPSC Civil Services examination, I have got All India rank 23 and I have cleared this examination in my third attempt. So this was my third attempt. In my earlier two attempts, I have cleared my preliminary examination as well, but I couldn't get through my main examination. So this year I could get through my preliminary, main as well as interview and get into the top 25 and to become an IAS. That's a dream of many, including me. I have started my journey in the year of 2015. So what happened was that in the year 2010, I completed my school and I started my college at M&M Jain Engineering College in Chennai. I am actually from a very small town called as Maduranthagam, which is in Tamil Nadu. I have not had much experience with the civil services because none of my parents are that educated. My father is a 12th standard pass while my mother is a 10th standard SSLC pass. So actually I am the first graduate in my entire family. I am from a very small town, and in a small town we have larger dreams. So with the larger dreams I came to city, I came to Chennai where I did my college. I completed my graduation in electronics and communication engineering from M&M Jain Engineering College. As I already said you, in the year 2014 I graduated, and when I came to college, actually I am an engineering graduate, but trust me, when I was in school I had never heard about IITs or NITs or any other colleges, because that was the level of knowledge that we had in our environment, that we had in our town, that we knew only few engineering colleges that were nearby to my place. And one day when I started my college, I knew that my college is very nearby to IIT Madras. And once I went to inside the IIT Madras, I found that how beautiful the campus was. So I am not from a very privileged background. My father and mother, my parents are not that educated, from a very middle class family. But I had very big dreams, like thousands and thousands of aspirants who are appearing for this IAS examination. They do also have that they want to get into this IAS, that is the coveted Indian Administrative Services, or they are in other services like IPS, IFS, etc. So it's just it's a small video, it's a small way that I share my experience, I share my knowledge that I had in this journey. As I said, after 2014, I started working with Infosys Limited. I started my training in Mysore as well as my posting was in Chennai. But even that IT job did not interest me. I got the job through my campus placement, but that job did not really interest me. I lost interest because I felt that I could do much larger things to the society. In my college period, I had experience with the Rotary Club of my college. You all know that Rotary Club. Rotary Clubs are those clubs in college which involve themselves in community development works. So I started volunteering for Rotary Club. We did a lot of good works. For example, Pulse Polio, whereby we twice in every year, we go to nearby areas to conduct polio campaigns. Then we started conducting blood donation campaigns within our college that become a huge successful. Then we started eye checkup and eye donation campaigns. We started doing road safety awareness programs, career guidance to the students who are from underprivileged sections such as in government schools, etc. We started conducting cultural for those people. I found a lot of joy in that. The joy which I couldn't find in getting employed in one of the topmost MNCs in world. I found that joy while serving people, serving the underprivileged people. I found that I could bring some change into their life, give them a smile just for a day, or bring something. So all I felt was, what if that could be a career prospect for me? What if I could get myself into the public service, where I start giving them certain justice, or ensuring that they get their due share of benefits. India is a welfare state, as you all know. So there are a lot of good things that the government does for people, but somewhere it doesn't reaches those people to whom they are intended to. So what if I could bring those schemes, or what if I could deliver those good things that the government intends to the people actually for whom it is intended to. So that was a simple motivation for me. It was a motivation to work hard. It was a motivation to see greater things in the life rather than smaller things, to bring smile in the life of many, to give them certain sense of justice. So these are certain things that motivated me. So I had to quit my job, because again this is a question which a lot of people ask me. Sir, should we quit the job to prepare for civil services examination? Personally, it's your choice. Okay, I have seen people who have got into top ranks being in the job. For example, people who are into IRS training, they get into the IAS just by appearing once more in the examination. They are in the training, they prepare while they are in the training. And I have also seen so many people who quit the job. Okay, they have seen people who are in the job, who are in very tiring jobs such as in Goldman Sachs, etc., and still they get into the top ranks. So it's how you manage your time. Suppose if you are a person who is working, then probably you have to devote 4 hours of your day to studies apart from your working hours. 8 to 9 hours you are working. So 4 hours during the commutation time or during the early morning or late night you can devote for your studies, and probably devote your entire day on your weekend for the studies. So that's how you can manage both things. And it was a personal choice for me. I felt that I need some time to prepare for this examination. If I have to prepare, means I have to give all that I have for this examination. I want to dedicate myself totally. I felt that being in a job, being in a IT job, I won't be getting much time in a day to spend for my studies. So I felt that it was it was actually a good decision to quit the job. Sometimes I did felt that did I take a right decision or not, but now I can say that yeah, I took a right decision, because the 4 years that I have spent, I dedicated myself totally for the preparation. I worked a lot, so that's why I could get into the top ranks. So that's something I would like to discuss, that being in a job is not such a bad thing. If you can manage things well, then you can definitely manage things. So that was my first attempt. I started my preparation in the year 2015, exactly on August of 5th, and on April 5th, 2019, I got my results. So somewhere around 3 years and 8 months was my preparation period. So I started preparing in the month of August. So in the first few months, what I did was I started reading all the NCERTs. Only reading NCERTs, not going into the detail, but reading NCERTs in in like a novel. For example, if you are driving a car, what we see is that how the car should be driven. We do not open up the bonnet or the engine and we check the various parts of the engine. Though if we do that, we will be an advantage. When the car breaks down, we will know how to repair the car. Again, so it's something like that. I just started reading NCERTs like a storybook, like a novel. I just started reading to get the idea of what the book tries to tell me, what the chapter tries to tell me. So I did that 3 to 4 times. That was something which I did. So that was the first thing I did, because I did not want to focus much in the first few months itself. I wanted to have a vague idea about each and everything, because I was also reading newspaper, and in newspaper we get along a lot of static points, such as in economy or in politics, etc. We need static knowledge to understand newspaper properly. So if I had read the static part, then I could relate it with the newspaper, and when I read the newspaper, I could relate it with the static part. For that, I need to have an idea of each and every subject, polity, economy, geography, etc. So I just started reading the NCERTs and the basic books little by little, and that's what I did. And after some 4 to 5 months, I started solving the previous year question papers. All the previous last 23-24 years. I had a book called this Disha publication book, which had solved question papers of the last 25 years, I think so. So I took that book, I started solving each and every question. Solving means not just marking the right option, but also seeing that why all the 3 wrong options have been given. So I did a research on all the questions, because I wanted to feel how the question paper can be in the UPSC examination. Every year the UPSC changes its pattern. Every year the UPSC changes its pattern. Sometimes it gives more importance to current affairs. In some question paper it gives more importance on the static part of the syllabus, etc. So I just wanted an idea of how the question paper can be. So I started solving these questions. So it gave me an idea that how should I channelize my preparation. Which are the areas should I omit, which are the areas should I focus. For example, when I saw the question papers, I could find that a lot of questions on the basis of geography and polity are being asked, whereas the questions from art and culture or ancient India, they are not asked much. 4 to 5 questions we can entirely come in ancient India as well as in art and culture. Even in ancient India, I have found that there are certain parts where questions are repeatedly being asked. One part is Buddhism and Jainism. Every year we get 1 or 2 questions on this Buddhism and Jainism part. So that was something I focused really on. So that was in ancient India. In art and culture, I found that there are hardly 2 to 3 questions being asked, and even that the questions, one question will be simple, anyone can attend. Other 2 questions will be very difficult. I found that the cost benefit ratio for me to study art and culture was very low. The time which I spent in art and culture, if I could spend that time in other subjects, I could really do well. For example, 3 days I am spending in art and culture for 3 questions. The 3 days if I spend in polity, I am getting 15 questions from polity in a year. So in every question paper, right? Some 10 to 15 questions we get in polity. So the 3 days I could spend in polity, that will give me more benefit than spending 3 days in art and culture. So I did a strategic thing of spending more time in the subjects from which more questions are being asked. But I did not ignore the art and culture or the ancient and medieval India subjects entirely. I did have a certain basic level knowledge, but I did not go into such an advanced level in those subjects, in those subjects. For example, I did a lot of work, I referred a lot of books for polity subjects, etc. But I usually what I did is I did refer certain books, but at the end of the day, the only book which I reversed multiple times was Lakshmikant. I have reversed that book for somewhere around 10 to 15 times, because that book I felt very easy, the reading was very easy, and I felt that that I had certain photographic memory. If I read one book multiple times, then I have photographic memory. I know that this particular question or this particular point is in this page, in this part, etc., etc. If you see any diagrams, if you see any tabular column, it gets registered into my mind as a photographic, it gets registered into my mind as a photograph, as a picture. So it becomes easier for me to remember in the examination hall. So I would say students to revise one book multiple times rather than reading 100 different books. Okay, I had very standard list of books which is available online, which everyone says what they have read. For geography was my option, so I had to read Khullar and Majid-Hussain, etc. For polity I read Lakshmikant, though somewhere I referred to PM Bakshi sometimes, but my primary source was Lakshmikant. I gave up on PM Bakshi after some certain point of time. I referred only Lakshmikant. For environment, I refer to Shankar IAS book as well as certain other books that Down to Earth, Yojana, Kurukshetra, newspaper. That was the major source of environment. And more than that, environment, when I found last year that they are asking questions on environmental institutions, I started referring to the major institutions that appear in the news, as well as going to websites of UNFCCC, COP21 and other such websites, IPCC website, going and seeing, learning the institutions that are placed in these websites. So that I could remember these things and I could work upon these things. So my entire preparation, the important part was previous year questions, even for my mains as well as for my preliminary examination. So after December, I started writing answers also, probably half an hour in a day I started writing 2 to 3 answers just to get an idea of how to write an answer. And I also started preparing for, I started taking mock test, that is regular mock test of various institutions as well as the previous year solved papers. I started taking a lot of mock tests so that I have an idea of how good my accuracy is. At the end of the day, I found that if I attempt 85 questions, I could get 70 questions right and 50 questions wrong. So that was my accuracy level, and in my first year preliminary examination 2016, I got 72 questions right. I attempted 86 questions, I got 72 questions right and 14 questions wrong. So that was my accuracy level, because I knew that this is my accuracy level well before the examination, because I had practiced that much. I strategized my preparation so much that I knew what's good thing, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, where I can score more, where I can score less, etc. I did this work and it really helped me to get through preliminary examination. In all the 3 attempts, my cutoff was 10 marks above the general cutoff. In first attempt, my cutoff was around 125 point something, 3-4, while the general cutoff was 116. Second attempt was, my marks was 116, and my third attempt my marks was 108.66. So in all the attempts, I could say that my marks are 10 marks higher than the general cutoff. That's because I knew what works for me. I knew how many questions I should attempt, what are the questions I should not attempt. I have practiced a lot. I have practicing marking the right bubble so that I do not make mistake in marking the wrong bubble, etc., etc. So that practice really helped me to get good marks in my preliminary examination. So my journey started like that. So somewhere in the 8th of August, I attended my first preliminary examination, and I could, when I checked my key, I got somewhere around 122. That was the mark that I got, though finally I got 125. So I got good marks, I felt happy, and I started preparing. But what happened was that in my first attempt, I did not give much focus on my main subjects. I did not do much of answer writing. The answer writing process started only after my preliminary examination. Only after writing my preliminary examination, I started writing answers, and that continued up to the main examination, and I did not do much work in my optional subject also. So that really costed me. In my first attempt, I missed the interview call by 3 marks, and it's because I got low mark in my optional, that is 245. So I decided that I should work more on my optional as well as my GS part, and writing practice is very important. The preliminary examination is only an elimination. What I see is that the mistake I did, and I am seeing most of the aspirants are doing the same mistake. That is, they focus more on preliminary examination rather than on main examination. Let me tell you something. Your preliminary examination mark is not going to be included in the final cutoff. Your preliminary examination mark is just that. It's just to eliminate people. It's just to eliminate somewhere around 4.5 lakhs people and to select some 10,000 people for the main examination. The marks that you are getting in your main examination is going to decide your place in the merit list. I got 877 this year, somewhere 93 marks higher than the general cutoff. That's because I focused a lot. I focused a lot on this part. So I will tell you guys also to focus a lot in the mains part rather than on the preliminary part. It can be difficult. You can ask me how we can focus both, but that has to be done. You have to spend before the preliminary examination till 2 to 3 months before the preliminary examination. You have to focus both on preliminary and main examination. Once you are nearby to preliminary examination, for example, you have 60 days left for preliminary examination, you have to focus mostly, you have to focus your 100% on preliminary examination. Once your examination is over, don't take a long break, take a 2 to 3 days break, and after that immediately start preparing for your main examination. Give you a lot of focus on your optional paper and lot of focus on your mains paper also. Do a lot of answer writing practice. This year what I did was, after my preliminary examination, I started writing answers. First thing I did was I analyzed all the previous year question papers of UPSC. I did not do it in the last 2 attempts for main examination, though I did it for preliminary examination. I started writing answers. Since I already attempted the main examination twice, I know that what are the answers that I have written, how good I have written answers in which I have did the mistakes. What I did was I took all the questions, I again started brainstorming on these questions. And I took the syllabus of UPSC, I by-hearted this entire UPSC syllabus, every word by word of the main syllabus I by-hearted. And whenever I read a newspaper, I used to connect, this question can be asked in this part. So that thing I used to do again and again. Excuse me. So that thing I used to do again and again, and in the 4 months between the preliminary and main examination, I did more of writing rather than of reading. Every day I used to spend 1 or 1.5 hours in writing, and on a weekly basis I used to spend somewhere around, I used to write 2 full length mock tests, that is 3-hour mock tests, 2 full length mock tests I used to write regularly. And that's the answer writing practice that really helped me to get such a good marks. I started writing answers in a very beautiful manner. I improved on my presentation skills, I improved on my mapping skills, how to draw maps in various questions, how to attempt questions even in which we do not have much idea itself. For example, we had a question on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how could we answer such questions? I focused on those type of questions also. I focused a lot on my ethics paper because last time I got very low marks in my ethics paper. I focused on a lot of building good examples in ethics, etc., etc. So I would say to students that don't only focus on your preliminary examination, focus on your main examination also. When you are preparing, you should adequately focus on your main as well as optional marks, because I see few people saying that GS marks doesn't hold any ground. Anyway, people are not getting good mark in GS, so we have to focus more on optional essay. Let me tell you, GS also holds holds good, because this year I got 446 in my GS. I topped GS2 with 125 marks. I don't think so anyone has got more than 125 marks this year in GS2. With that information, I can tell you that I am the topper of GS2. It's because I have practiced a lot in writing answers. So that's why I could get 446 in my GS, and that really helped me to get good marks in my final thing. I got 298 in my optional and 133 in my essay. So in every subject I have got decent scores. That's because I did a lot of answer writing practice. So preliminary examination is more on elimination, main examination is what it is important. So coming to another topic, that is, people started asking me that we have 30 days more, we have 40 days more, what we can do in these days to clear preliminary examination. Well, I will tell you, first thing first, do not go to any news sources, do not read any news source. Whatever you have read, just start revising those sources. That's the first thing you should do. Even now I find people going to market and people buying new books, new notes, finding that doubting themselves that have they read enough. That's not going to help. You, whatever book or notes you have read, start revising them again and again. That's what it's going to help you. 10 books, reading 10 books is not going to help you. This is not being said only by me, but many of the toppers say this, that reading one book 10 times is more worth than reading 10 books one times. Okay, so start reading, revising things again and again, and by this time I hope so you people would have taken a lot of mock tests. If you have not taken it, then please attempt a lot of mock tests. I have seen one of my friend, he was studying for 12 hours per day, 12 to 14 hours per day, but he never attempted a single mock test, and he couldn't clear all the 3 preliminary examinations, though he worked more than me, but he did not practice well. Okay, as the saying goes, practice makes a man perfect. You have to practice. If you only read for 10 hours, 12 hours, it's not going to help you. It's really not going to help you. You will get stuck in the examination hall. There's an art of guessing the right answers, because everyone has no 100% idea about what are the answers they are giving, right? So even the topper to the topper, they may have 40 to 42 questions, they may get it right, I mean in the first attempt. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to do intelligent guesses, and for that intelligent guesses you have to attempt a lot of mock tests. So that is very important, that you attempt a lot of mock tests. Every day you attempt a mock test, you analyze those mock tests, you see what mistake you have done in the mock test, and revise those mistakes. Okay, do not repeat those mistakes. See, you should not attempt those mistakes. Okay, and do not get underconfident that you are not getting much marks. These mock tests are only to channelize your preparation in the right manner, and the mock tests are only to show that where you stand and how much you should work hard. And if you are getting very high marks, don't be overconfident also. If you are getting very low marks, don't get underconfident also. These mock tests, they are just a pie. Okay, they are just a part of the pie. They are not going to decide whether you are writing your mains, you are writing your main examination or not. It's really the preliminary examination which will guide you, which will tell you how you should attempt, or whether you are getting into mains. So your focus should be entirely on clearing your preliminary examination as of now. For that, revise a lot, attempt a lot of mock tests, and if you have been attempting the mock tests, then take up those question papers, start revising them again and again, revise them 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, whatever the study, whatever the notes you have made, start revising them, revise your question papers, see what are the mistakes you have been doing. Okay, don't take a lot of stress. Again, this is a moment when people take a lot of stress, and it is actually stressful, because even I have felt a lot of stress during this moment. Sometimes we lose our sleep, we are unable to sleep on time because we keep on thinking that have we read enough, or can we get through the preliminary examination, etc, etc. Let me tell you, little bit of anxiousness is always needed in this examination. But if you become over anxious, then it's not going to help you, you are not going to deliver in the examination. Little bit of anxious is enough, but focus more on your health, do some yoga, do some meditation exercises, etc, so that you do not stress out yourself a lot. You keep the stress under limits. A little bit of stress is always needed. It's actually good to have a little bit of stress, but focus on how to handle that stress, and let that stress not dampen your preparation. If the stress can improve your preparation, then it's well and good, but if the stress is dampening your preparation, that's not well and good, that's doing much of bad. So that's with respect to preliminary examination. In the next upcoming 30 days, give your maximum, give a lot, whatever you have. Do not don't be underconfident about you, don't doubt yourself. That's the first thing I'll tell you. Don't doubt yourself, don't stress yourself. You are here to do it. I'm not from privileged background, I'm from a very simple background, but I had that thing in me that I can do this, I can clear this examination, I can do the hard work. I had the right strategy. So always believe in yourself and have the right strategy. Revise things a lot of times. Do not take out any new books. Revise things again and again and again, and focus on your pros as well as cons. Do a SWOT analysis of yourself, structured strength, weakness, and opportunity and threats. Do a SWOT analysis of yourself. See where you are standing, and prepare yourself well. I wish you all the best for the preliminary examination. We'll surely meet you after your preliminary examination. Thank you, and Jai Hind.